Hi, my name is Richard Crawford, host of Supply and Demand, an enlightening webcast show where we delve into the dynamic world of the global supply chain, where we navigate through the complexities, disruptions, and innovations that shape this vital network of interconnected businesses. From sourcing raw materials to delivering finished products, we'll uncover the challenges that arise at each stage and explore the strategies for optimizing efficiency and sustainability. And each week, we'll highlight and discuss a specific supply chain event. And of course, each week, I'm joined by my co-host, CEO of the Atlas Network and author of Supply Chain Ups and Downs, Mr. Karim Kafuri.
Richard, how are you, my man? Everything going well?
Everything's going good, man. I feel like we haven't talked in a while.
It has. It's been too long. And guess what's happening next week?
What is happening
Turkey
next week?
Day. Turkey Day.
Oh, yeah, that's
Thanksgiving.
right. That's right. That's an American thing, right?
It's an American thing, but you know what it also is?
Yeah.
It's a supply chain thing.
Well, funny you should. I was actually going to bring it, and I was joking about the American thing. I've been here long enough, and I love the holiday season. I am. This is going to be very polarizing. I am listening to Christmas tunes right now because that's just who I am, and unabashedly who I am. Okay, so I'm okay with that. But I am curious with the supply chain world because very often at this time of year, you get this sense in a lot of businesses where people kind of wind down. It's like, well, Thanksgiving's coming up. And then after Thanksgiving, it's the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, business kind of winds down, not in the supply chain world.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the point is that Thanksgiving, Christmas time, what's happening? People are moving. They're moving through these airports, it's
Yeah,
planes, it's trains, it's
yeah.
automobiles, it's
But,
logistics. It's unbelievably crazy. And I don't know if you know this or not, but 46 to 50 million turkeys, have to make their way
wow.
to tables
Right.
every year,
That,
right? So that's an entire logistical
yeah,
mechanism, right? Because these birds are being raised, they're
yeah,
being, transported, they're being purchased by people, there's
yeah.
commerce around this. I mean, it is if you just think about it, I mean,
Yeah, just
just
the increase in commerce alone, just it seems almost like it would be an even. Well, actually, it's a busy time of year, but the lead up to that, like people that just didn't decide today, oh my God, we got to get stuff on the shelves. They've been thinking about that for the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty insane.
Yeah,
And I think about that when it comes to these big events, these big holidays and so on, like how it all kind of just gets pulled off so that
yeah,
everybody has their Christmas tree for Christmas and
right,
how they have
exactly.
their turkey for Thanksgiving and so on. And there's so many intricate parts of it. But anyways, I'm excited about it. This is my favorite time of the year. Up here in New York, and it's been unbelievable. The weather has just been ridiculous. It's in the
Yeah, it's
60s,
been. It hasn't felt. It
70s.
hasn't felt like the holidays. Not when it's 60 and 70 degrees,
Yeah,
man. It's
it doesn't, but
crazy.
the trees are the fall,
It's turning.
the
Yeah, yeah,
colors, and I'm ready for Thanksgiving, so I'm
yeah. Me
excited
too.
about it.
Me too. All right. Well, let's introduce our next guest. And with over 35 years of experience in supply chain and logistics, Jeffrey Shih has worked across Taiwan, San Francisco, Singapore, and Los Angeles. And he has extensive expertise in international freight housing, warehousing, managing supply chains across regions, including a notable leadership role overseeing operations in 7 countries. And he's passionate about transportation, customer partnerships, and people development. Jeffrey is dedicated to leading by example. And he became the CEO of Dimerco Express Group in December 2023. Jeffrey, a very, very warm welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Kareem and I were just discussing the holiday season coming up in the United States and how typically a lot of businesses kind of wind down a little bit, but not the supply chain business.
No, and I was just saying, I was saying, Jeffrey, to Richard, like, just think about something like turkeys, right? To make sure that you've got, 50, 60 million turkeys on those tables every single year, or the Christmas trees that people buy, what logistics, what coordination, to basically be able to generate that level of commerce so that everybody can celebrate these holidays together. So even when we think about things like events and holidays, the supply chain, the transportation, the logistical side, even for people moving from place to place, getting in their cars, millions of people driving or flying or taking trains, to basically get them to their loved ones every year, right?
Yeah.
We're consistently looking at, different elements of transportation, logistics, and supply chain, especially around the holiday season.
Right. You know, especially like I think that we just passed the pandemic. I was in Singapore during the pandemic. I
Wow.
think a lot of people don't really understand what the importance of the supply chain until the pandemic, the global impact. So at that time, I was in Singapore. So actually, we host a few seminars to talk about how our company can be uh, the partner with a global supplier, especially for the company like Taiwan, China, or even the United States. So that's what I was in my purpose in Singapore by doing that. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all talk about the pandemic as a major springboard for the word supply chain becoming common vernacular that people know and hear all the time, because that was a time where people just couldn't get what they needed. And when people can't get what they need, it becomes really important that they know why it is, and then go forward from there. When there's rising costs on things, or there are things that are missing on the shelves, when there's either a natural disaster or some kind of a bottleneck in the supply chain, that's when people tend to really care the most. Or even most recently with some of the port strikes that were being talked about in America, everyone was worried to say, okay, well, what's this going to really mean if you don't have port workers that can't unload these containers and get them on trucks and get them delivered? What are we going to have here? We're going to have a recession. We're not going to have like a consumer economy. Like, what happens? It's extremely, extremely critical, to really pay attention to those
Yeah.
moving parts in the supply chain. So,
Right.
yeah, pandemic was one of those ones for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jeffrey, I'm curious also. Obviously, there's going to be a change of administration here in the
Yeah.
United States, and there's been a change of administration across the globe, really in all different countries. But based on your experience in the market, what type of tariff shifts and trade policies affect sourcing and manufacturing decisions the most? And what about compliance with these rapidly changing trade policies and regulations, especially in new markets that are alternatives as part of the China Plus One strategy?
I think that as we all know, the new Trump administration already announced, but still there's uncertainty. Of course, all the product coming from China will be around 60% on the tariff. Other country will be up to like a 20% of the import duty. Regarding the manufacturers sourcing shift from USA to Mexico, they will add 100 to 100 to 200%.
Wow.
However, back to the 2018, that Trump government already imposed Section 301. That already increased the China product coming from China, depend on the different variety of the product, already up to 10 to 25%. Think about that additional 60% on top of the China product and other countries. Of course, the
Right,
slogan from the Trump government is we want to make America great again. So
right.
they want to focus on the product made in the United States, particularly some of the commercial product. The other one I think important, as most of you probably will know, that the e-commerce is very strong, the business model back to a few years ago from China. So because there's a tariff called the T86, $800 free import duty. This probably will be the risk of the cancellation or the reduction, probably down to the 300. So now they are talking about this, but
Yeah.
this will be the impact to the overall.
And do you think businesses can minimize the tariff exposure and still stay compliant, especially with US trade laws and requirements?
Yes, yes, because again, there's a lot of product, the consumer product. There's a lot of the e-commerce company. They ship the product from. Now you can go to their platform to order online, and probably like within 7 to 10 days will deliver to you though, and that product will be very significant impact to to the consumer in the United States. Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Very interesting.
When it comes to these concepts of tariffs, I deal with that a lot myself, Jeffrey, because my company, the Atlas Network, we have 2,000 suppliers, primarily in Asia. Most of our clients are in the United States and in Europe and so forth. And so, our clients are always asking these questions around what's going to happen with these tariffs and how we're going to manage it, how we're going to mitigate it, and so forth. And it's going to be tough. I mean, it is not an easy thing to manage. I mean, I believe personally that value brands where they do significant volume but have very small margins, some of them are going to go out of business. You're not going to have enough to support it. People will lose jobs potentially. If you're a luxury product with a higher price point, maybe you'll absorb it. Maybe you'll be able to pass it off to your customer potentially. Or most importantly, I think, is a very frank conversation will have to be had between the business and the actual manufacturer on their end to say, look, we've been doing business for a long time together and we both want to survive. So how do we do this? Why don't you share some of the tariff and we'll share some of the tariff? And in this way, we basically have some kind of a distribution of these additional costs so that customers continue to buy and businesses don't get so drastically impacted because it's substantial. Those 60% and some of the other percentages you mentioned here are going to be, widespread, and the American consumer maybe can't afford it. So, it's a real challenge, and I think there's going to have to be a lot of ways that American business and overseas manufacturers are going to have to work hand in hand in collaboration to still maintain a level of business and consumer stability.
Yeah. But still, the reason we have the China plus one policy in place, and there's a lot of the manufacturer already shipped out from the China to Southeast Asia country. When I was in Singapore, actually, my office, I can see there's the two islands, probably like take about 1 hour barge into that country. Actually, it belongs to Indonesia. So one of the country called Batam is a lot of the manufacturer right there, and is under the free trade zone. So some of the American company at that time, we already handled their business. The manufacturer shipped from China to Batam through the Singapore. Because you can do all the material delivered to Batam and doing the
fabrication in Bhutan.
Yeah. Then become the made in Indonesia.
Right.
Okay, because the product can be the complete knockdown and made in Malaysia. I mean, made in Indonesia. Then the product shipped to United States. There's a couple of the USA company we handle, including those home security TV is a very well-known company in the United States. Actually, they've been doing that. So the other one is some of the automotive part already shipped from China into particularly like Thailand. Yeah. So that's how the Dimerco been well known in the Asia Pacific market. We can do all the air freight, ocean freight, contract logistics, custom brokerage, particular trade compliance. And now I think the most important for the product coming to the United States, you need to have the system to track where the original product coming from.
Sure.
Yeah.
The raw material. The other is you need to have the local expertise on the country of origin to avoid the extra duty in the United States, because the custom going to using the AI or open source, the big data to track that. Actually, USA government already have the imports, those automation already. So this is a very important part I'd like to share.
So let's lighten it up a little bit, Jeffrey. How about the hot seat segment? Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
All right. So just to remind the viewers, this is where we ask our guests 3 questions that they have to answer within total of 5 minutes and get as close to 5 minutes as possible, known as the hot seat. So are you ready to go? Let's get the stopwatch started. On 1 second. And the time starts now. All right, Jeffrey, what can you tell us about the China Plus One strategy, and what kind of impact does it have on trade and supply chain decision makers?
Actually, the China Plus One is a shift toward the diversifying the global supply chain by investing in the alternative production hub, such as Southeast Asia, Latin America. The trend has a significant implication for the business development. It encouraged the company to reevaluate their supply chain strategy and consider the new market. It also created opportunity for the emerging economic area to become the major player. So particularly in Southeast Asia, like I mentioned, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, I think those are the important emerging the market. Of course, in Latin America, the Mexico, because it's close to the United States market, so they can move faster based on the market the situation.
All right. Jeffrey, I got question number 2 for you. Which countries are the hot favorites as alternatives to China for sourcing, especially to the United States, and why do you think so?
Okay, currently, I think the Indonesia and Vietnam, because number one, the population, there are more than like 200 million in Indonesia, close to 100 million people in Vietnam. Second, those two countries, particularly Vietnam, if you look at the map, actually they have the border close to the China. So besides the cheap labor, but also they have the infrastructure already built. So a lot of products, including the wearing apparel, shoes, and some of the electronic, cell phone, and also now implement those we so-called the semiconductor in those countries.
You're doing well on time. You got plenty of time, Jeffrey. So we're going to give you this last question. You have about approximately 3 minutes to answer. So, are there any trends you are currently seeing in how the U.S. government is enforcing trade compliance measures, and what should businesses do to adapt to these changes?
I think the navigating the trade compliance and adopting the China Plus One strategy will be the significant undertaking in 2025. So stay informed about the regulated updates through the industry association, government resources, and the consultant fee. I think the most important, you got to cooperate with the experienced and well-established logistic partner like Dimerco, which we established the company back to the 1971. And actually we have over the 600 well-trained employees in Southeast Asia country over 40 years already. I think those are the important factors for the company, to face the challenge. But with this, I think the company in the United States, particularly importer, can overcome those obstacles and the challenge.
Do you want to add anything else? You have a minute left, a minute or so. You don't have to, but you got the time.
No, I think that's enough, because like I say, the Dimerco is over 53 years already. Yeah. Although we are a Taiwanese-based company, but we go international over 53 years. And myself already, actually, I came to the United States back to the 1991. Yeah. So I like to explore the company branding, and during the venture of the CEO of the company. A lot of people don't know us, but actually in USA we already, like the first office in United States is in New York, which is close to 50 years now.
Wow.
Back to 1976. Wow. And the founder just retired just recently. So he appointed me as the CEO of the company, try to lead in the company to the next venture of the Dimerco Express group.
Well, congratulations. We'll stop it right there. You did very well. You've got some time left, but very efficient. And yeah, you also managed to get in a little bit of the history of your company there, which is fascinating. Almost 50 years. That's really cool.
And currently we have over 160 plus offices, 80% in the Asia Pacific. China alone, like current now is in Shanghai. Actually, we are close to 80 office business unit in China. Wow. And we established back to the 1991.
Wow.
Do you have
our current slogan, I think, is very important to let people know: connecting Asia with the world.
Connecting Asia with the world, yeah.
Do you have offices in Qingdao also? In Qingdao and in Ningbo and
you name it, all those major city, even down to like a second tier, third tier office. We all have that's why we have about 80 offices in the Greater China.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Amazing. Next time
Impressive.
I'm in China and I'm visiting my teams, I should come see your offices there. I go to
Sure.
China often. I'll be there again in March soon. So
If you go to Shanghai, there's a regional office right there. Yeah.
where are you are you in the French concession, or where's the office? In Pudong, Puxi?
No, Pudong. You know that the very famous
Like the Bund?
no, close.
I see. I see.
Yeah, we have that office. We bought the building, the office in that building probably over 20 years ago already. We invest
Beautiful.
some of the property over there.
Definitely will have to come and do a nice trip and visit with you when I'm in
Oh, yeah,
Shanghai.
please.
I
Okay,
always
Vincent,
stay.
let's stay good. Because I travel, like I say, I travel a lot. Maybe I meet you somewhere.
Oh, that would be great. Are you going to be going to Manifest in February? Will you be at the Manifest show in Las Vegas in
Uh,
February?
no, we have the global annual management meeting in Vietnam
Oh, I see. I
from
see.
2020, I think from 20 to 2023, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah.
I look forward to definitely keeping in touch with you and maybe meeting you in the world.
Where, right? Or maybe Richard, actually, I'd like to take some opportunity to see, someone can help us to set up the promotional the seminar for like a China Plus One, so
Yep.
we can highlight with some of the importer in the United States. I did meet a couple of the people through the different conference. So that's something I plan for the next year. I want to set up some of the promotional seminar,
Yep.
like a luncheon meeting, like a 20-30 minute presentation, then
Yeah.
deal with every individual customer whenever they have the question, then I can bring our team to
Right.
have the face-to-face to talk to them individually.
Well,
I think East Coast will be one of the very ideal area for us to pursue this.
okay. Well, let you and I take that offline. We'll connect offline and we'll chat about that for sure.
Okay.
Love
Yeah.
to help any way that I can. And
Okay.
you've been in the United States long enough now to appreciate the good old holiday season and turkey coming up. Are you going to get to eat some turkey?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Today I will travel back to Taiwan for our annual business plan and budget preparation, and do the final conclusion on the first week of the December.
Very
Yeah. So
cool.
I will be gone for 1 month.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
that's yeah.
All right. Well, so just to wrap things up, Jeffrey, how can people get a hold of you and your company if they want to see new things that are going on, websites, emails, whatever? How do they contact?
Yeah, I think the website www.dimerco.com, Dimerco.com.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
so they can find all the information from there.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you. And you, Kareem, how can people get a hold of you?
The best way to reach me, my company is theatlasnetwork.com, where we help with global supply chain solutions for small, medium, large size businesses.
Okay.
My personal website is kareemkafoury.com, where I do all the thought leadership. And then for the book, which you talked about earlier, is supplychainupsanddowns.com.
Yeah, and it's a good read. I highly recommend people read it. It doesn't take long. It's quite easy to follow. So a couple of hours, I think I read it, and it's really insightful, Kareem. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening. Just a reminder that each week we'll have a very special guest on to continue our conversation in the fascinating world of the global supply chain. Don't forget to follow our LinkedIn and YouTube pages at the Supply and Demand Show. Thank you, everybody, and have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you soon.